class, and welcome back to the Nerd Academy Podcast. Hosted by our headmaster, Jarod Bachman Stubbs, you can find all of us here at the Nerd Academy Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on our website at www.thenerdacademypodcast.com. Our shows, the Nerd Academy Podcast, Knights of the Nerd Republic, and Campus Life are released weekly at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, wherever you listen to podcasts. And don't forget, check out our Patreon, where every donation helps to keep the lights on.
Hello there, and welcome back to Knights of the Nerd Republic. I am your host, Jarod the Dark Jedi Bachman Stubbs, and in-house today we have Travis Black Leader Grossman. We got a good can crack going.
Always.
And the Beyond the Blastdoors podcast network is here in full force. We got Pete from around the galaxy.
Ew.
And returning to Knights of the Nerd Republic, we have Gerry the Canon Junkie from the Bombadcast.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Yes, that's right. That's right. And I expect a jacket like the people who host SNL 5 times get after I've been on that many times or something, just so you know.
I think it's the Three Timers Club that gets it.
The 3 timers?
I think it's the 3 timers. Okay. It might be 5. I'm not sure.
I think it's the 5. I thought it was the 5 timers, but I don't know. I'll have to ask Steve Martin.
Yes. Just shoot him a text. I'm sure you have him on speed dial. But yeah, we have a light news week. However, as you've seen, myself and Gerry and Pete and pretty much everybody else in the Star Wars Twitterverse who snaps a band a little bit whenever these dipshits crawl out of the woodwork. We're gonna spend a little time on this first story.
We should preface first that we're recording this a little in advance.
Yes.
So if something breaks between now and Saturday, which it's today's Thursday,
it's going to,
like tomorrow.
The way this works for us,
tomorrow they're going to announce what Rian Johnson's trilogy is.
Yeah.
That's our luck.
A complete reimagining of the sequel trilogy.
Because
with Ryan directing
by just
it.
a little bit.
Little bit. Be his worst nightmare.
That would be great, though.
That would be the most poetic justice ever.
It's all 3 of the same movies, but Rey has pink hair.
Yeah, Rey has pink hair. They just completely write Leia out. It's Holdo the whole time.
This is getting good.
Oh my gosh. Well, you are correct, Jarod, in calling it a light news week, because it is light on brains for sure, and that's the only reason. Like, I don't understand why this has gained so much traction. I'm sorry, we're just jumping in, right? Because I just don't know. I don't understand.
Let me give you a little bit of how I found out about this. But
one more time, Pete. You cut out there at the end.
I knew gerbils from internet. Oh yeah, can you guys hear me all right? Is it going all right?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Now you're back.
I heard something about gerbils, and I was like, follow Richard Gere or something?
Maybe
Gerry.
Maybe it's best if I don't continue. No, so I was actually talking to my father. My father is 70x years old, and he'll listen to the show. He's a big like, and he sends this message on Facebook saying, "Have you seen this?" And it turns out it was, I think it was the Cosmic Book link, and he's like, and so I had to explain to him the whole Fandom Menace incel.
Isn't that an awkward moment? You have to explain to someone who is not in this what is going on, and you are feeling all of these emotions and anger and like frustration, and they just look at you like, what is going on with you?
It's funny you say that. Yeah, honestly, it was like trying to explain. I don't know. It was like trying to explain to my 7-year-old like politics that are happening. It's like, it sounds really crazy. There's this guy who's president, and it was the same thing with my dad. I'm like, it sounds really crazy. this guy hates everything about Disney and everything that's happened, and since. But what I knew at that moment is if my dad was familiar with this story, it was definitely going to take off because the echo chamber that we all live in and social was certainly going to find it.
Yeah, and I want to preface this, and again, Travis can attest to this. I have an unhealthy obsession with the Fandom Menace.
He does. It's you've been good recently until like this past week. But I have a similar situation with this story.
Yeah.
Where today, so I just got off of work about half an hour ago. I was on my last break, and I'm BSing in the break room with my friends, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to record tonight. We're recording the show early. I'm going to be on the Star Wars show this week. We're talking about this crazy rumor that isn't real, but like it's gained enough traction that we need to talk about it. And that's where I cut it off. 5 minutes later, one of them looks at me and goes, so what's up with this rumor about them cutting the sequel trilogy? And I was like, oh, no. Oh, no.
Newsweek magazine ran with, not only did they run with the story, they named him by name, and they put a link in the story to the video. I am still amazed at the fact that Newsweek, which I remember reading as a kid for our sort of our current events magazine in school, in grade school, back when magazines were still a thing, and Newsweek had to write the word doomcock, an article, and decided that they were going to run with it.
Proof that print journalism is dead, first of all.
In the age of coronavirus and the Trump presidency, what is more relevant and timely than a dude named Doomcock and a paper mache robot mask?
So
talking about Star Wars. I mean, that's what the people want to hear. That's we got to stick to
That's all that matters.
Just stick to the big issues, guys. Real important stuff,
Before we dive in, I want to, and again, with Travis as my witness, who watched my very unhealthy Fandom Menace obsession kick in right before Rise of Skywalker came out. I discovered Doomcock like maybe a month and a half before Episode 9 released. And I remember...
Lucky.
Yeah, and I hit up Travis, and I was like, Travis, I'm about to relapse. He's like, what?
He's like, I found this guy who wears a Doctor Doom like rip-off mask and is talking about test screenings and how Bob Iger has rewritten the ending 6 times. And I was like, please. Like, he tried to show me a video once, and I almost threw his phone across the room. I couldn't stand it.
And that's the thing, is I'll fall down these rabbit holes of becoming, like, obsessed with, like, the latest up-and-comer in the Fandom Menace. Like, before Doomcock, it was, like, a year before, and I couldn't stop watching the quartering videos, which, if I don't get a brain tumor by the end of my life, it's a miracle for listening to Jeremy from the quartering talk.
Wait. Like the magic guy, like the magic, like he did magic.
Yeah,
stuff?
like the guy that got banned by Wizards of the Coast. That that fucking bastard.
Ow, impressive.
That is impressive.
Yeah, the quartering is a total creep. But I got like super obsessed with Doomcock, and Doomcock, like he blew up because all of those Rise of Skywalker videos. That again, like obviously we all know about what happened with Jason Ward. All of that notwithstanding, most of Doomcock's reporting was ripping off the Making Star Wars articles that were coming out around the time about the Rise of Skywalker. And speaking very plainly, right, we this is back when Travis and I were still with Dewback Discussion. We were doing audio commentaries leading up to the Rise of Skywalker. We had Jason on for the Revenge of the Sith one. And after we were done recording that, Jason was talking to us about scoops that he had about Rise of Skywalker. And in them, he laid out the ending for us, and Travis and I couldn't tell if he was talking about rumor and what he didn't know for a fact and what was fact and what was conjecture. So we had no idea that Jason told us the ending. And again, this is all the way back in November.
Like, his exact words were, Ben Solo goes in unarmed to fight the Knights of Ren. There's a death and then a burial on Tatooine. So we had all of that.
Yeah.
going into
You
the
know,
meeting.
I am really I'm glad that I.
What was that? You got mangled. I apologize.
Oh no, I apologize. I don't know what's going on. This is a bad connection. I mean, I was part of the Making Star Wars Network for a while, and
Yeah.
then earlier this year, like way before all the exploded, that essentially knocked of the loop. It was several months before that. I was like, you know what? I don't want to be involved with a lot of that kind of thing. And it's the same thing here. Look, we can mock Doomcock all we want, and probably could do it for a while. But the reality is, it's just a dumb story. I'm more interested in the fact that so many people. I saw some folks that I thought had a fairly strong handle on reality. I won't name names there. Talking about this like it was going to happen. It was real. And it's what's happened is you have the people who freaked out about Star Wars after everybody loved Star Wars after The Force Awakens. Everybody was back on the boat.
Yeah.
Last Jedi came out and you entered off, and that was where Fandom Menace really took hold, because it was what Luke Skywalker did wasn't their thing. And that was got ugly fast. And then you now have this other side of the fence of people who love Last Jedi and hate The Rise of Skywalker so much because it didn't deliver what they wanted. And so now the fandom, it's not even like split in two. There's like factions all over the place. It's like Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
And
you're not wrong.
so the problem is I saw people who I know love The Last Jedi now jumping on with this great idea in their mind that they should reboot, and the whole thing is it's not even rebooting that drives me nuts, because I'll be honest, at one point I was kind of like, it would be kind of cool if Disney redid the prequels, because I didn't love them for a while. It's taken me a while, but the last 3 or 4 years I've become a real big supporter of the prequels. That's probably a conversation for another time, but at one point I was like, yeah, it would be kind of cool if they redid the prequels, because I didn't love them, but now I see what they are. But it's this whole like multiverse idea for that's Star Trek, man. If you want to have different versions of Luke Skywalker, go watch Star Trek, or go pick up a Marvel comic book, because that's a different world. Star Wars' world is not in a multiverse or alternate timelines or that sort of thing. That just doesn't play with the way the story is put together. It's a ridiculous way.
Yeah, no, I agree with you a lot on that. And I think that a lot of the premise and point of doing a multiversal fandom is the point for those multiverses to eventually interact. And like, how do you do that? How and in what universe are like we gonna have Legends Grandmaster Luke, show up and like interact with Rey or some goofy shit like that? It's just really strange and weird, and is not worth the trouble there. But hopping into the Cosmic Book article, because we're going to talk about it and we're going to debunk it and we're going to call it a day. And again, Travis, I hope the car is running in the event I have an aneurysm reading this.
She starts up
Skateboard wheels, like
Yeah.
nice and greased up.
A new rumor has hit the net offering that some sort of Disney Star Wars
So,
reset...
I'm sorry. Hit the net.
Well, this article was written in 1997.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Time.
Sounds about right.
Gonna do some prequels, I hear.
Took 14 hours to upload it on the island modem. There's so many pictures.
It's all the cool. Oh, I bet those are the super coolest warriors coming out of the fog. They are.
Phantom Menace reference. Well done, Gerry.
All right. This is going to be the hard part because I have to say his name now. The rumor comes from the, quote, future ruler of Earth, Doomcock, a.k.a. DVD Overlord,
AKA mild inconvenience penis.
Calamity Cock.
Doom cuck.
Dick.
That's the best one. That's the most deserving one. who recently offered that a Star Wars Civil War is happening at Lucasfilm between Kathleen Kennedy and Jon Favreau.
Recently offered, meaning he pulled it out of his ass.
From sources close to my rectum, Doomcock...
Doom rectum.
Doom rectum.
Oh, this is... All right, keep going.
Sorry.
Doomcock also previously provided those Skywalker spoilers, 90% of which were wrong. If you watch any of his videos, he's like almost there, and then it falls the fuck apart because he bit off of making Star Wars reporting and then twisted it. Anyway. And prior to Marvel Studios announcing a new director and writing team on the Captain Marvel sequel, said there were all kinds of problems at Marvel with Brie Larson and Captain Marvel. Interestingly enough, Feige is now going with Elizabeth Olsen and Scarlet Witch. Ha 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 ha, you should smile more. People don't know what they're talking about. Incels, get out of my Star Wars. Disney's Star Wars trilogy getting nullified. Getting back to the rumor, Doomcock says that the plans are in place to save the Star Wars franchise, which involves the Abrams and Ryan trilogy, Ryan Johnson trilogy, getting nullified. It's claimed that Disney's Star Wars trilogy will be erased using a concept that was recently made canon in Star Wars Rebels. And this
recently, as in like 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Right?
So now I have to read a direct Doomcock quote, so if you could pitch me down a little bit to sound like that dipshit. A decision for episode 13 installment titled The World
Here's
Between
the thing
Worlds.
that sucks. Well, I'm sorry. Here's what sucks. We've all watched his video. That's why we know.
Yeah.
That's annoying as
Yeah.
hell. Pardon my French. That wasn't French.
No. Oh, curse as much as you want on this show. It's okay.
Sure, they speak like that in France, not necessarily in that inflection.
This is hurting to talk about.
Continue, your Lord of Earth.
Yeah, oh God, don't. Please don't. I request that you don't. The Force was introduced, a mystical dimension of the Force that connects all time and space. I have received confirmation from 2 additional sources claiming that this is spot on.
Wait a minute. Are you Doomcock?
We had this running theory for a while that one of us was actually Doomcock. Like we would talk about him and shit on him relentlessly for hours, and then we'd go home and one of us would just pull the helmet out from under our bed.
Forgive me for my wrongs. I have just begun.
Meditation chamber, and it lowers onto your head. Just like your mom lowering down from the ceiling.
What seems to be the problem, Admiral?
Your pizza rolls are ready.
I can't. I keep trying to take a drink and then we keep talking and I can't.
I'm sorry. My theories on who Doomcock is, and I actually had run-ins with. Had run-ins. The run-ins with. Did I have told you?
Yes.
I actually don't remember what I told you, but I was going to say it's either. I think it might be like Donald Trump is a closet Star Wars fanatic, and it's him, or it's a couple of bonobo monkeys like stacked on top of each other, like a talk box or something.
Whenever you mention Trump,
that's not the theory that I was.
Wait,
Who are you thinking?
I thought it was Mike Zero.
Oh my God!
No, that's Scotty.
Zero
That's
is
Scotty.
double dipping.
Guys are Bombad.
We get
I don't know.
confused all the time. We get confused all the
confusing.
time.
Sorry, you're never going to
They
get through
they call Scotty the Louisiana Jerry.
Louisiana Gerry. I love that. That's a good wing sauce
funny.
name.
this. It's funny.
I don't
A
know.
T-shirt eventually, maybe.
I don't know if any of you guys heard it, but whenever you suggested Trump, Travis let out an almost inaudible squeak of entertainment.
My smile got wide. Just the idea.
The guy likes to tweet, right? I mean, at least he used to. I've had run-ins with Doomcock before he was like Lord Doomcock, whatever. I don't know. Like back when I was defending the Last Jedi's honor back in the day, before like I realized these turd whistles don't even matter, whatever they think about it, you know. So I don't even know where turd whistle came from. I just came up with turd whistle.
No, but it is very apropos. It is very apropos for Doomcock.
Similar to a dog whistle, but
Yeah, dog whistle. They're dog whistling, and it's just a turd.
You're onto something with that. But yeah.
Continue.
Yeah. So a massive universe reset is going to hit the Star Wars universe is what he's claiming. Now,
a massive universe reset is going to hit the Star Wars universe.
yes, I know. It's almost like he's fucking illiterate.
I'm a writer. I'm a writer. That wouldn't get past me, isn't it?
So, again, up top, I want to, just so we can all talk about the quote-unquote spot-on Doomcock rumors. As somebody, I feel like Hulk in Endgame, I feel like I was created for this. Mm-hmm. Like the Force made me watch his garbage so that I would be ready for this story, 6 months later.
Yeah.
Oh, man. The Force works
just
in
go.
mysterious
Just go.
ways.
I was going to complain more.
No, you're good. So the spot-on rumors about the Rise of Skywalker that he claimed, just so we're all on the same page on how airtight his reporting was, he claimed that the final confrontation of the movie was on Kef beer, claimed that Ben's lightsaber just changed colors and that he wasn't wielding Anakin's. Again, ripping off of Making Star Wars reporting, accurately talked about Palpatine shooting the lightning at all the ships, but also claimed that aboard the Tantive V4 was Aftab Akbar along with Leia, and then that was the scene where Leia died.
In fairness, Rise of Skywalker was such a mess. It might have actually been right at one point.
It may have been, but there's also the fact that we're talking about his reporting as though it's airtight when all of this changed, and he uploads
November.
so yeah. And he uploads so frequently that at any moment he could have corrected his own reporting. At any moment he could have said, "Hey, I have reason to believe this may not be the case anymore." He chose stuff, twisted it, and still gets credit for being half right. In no other sphere of entertainment journalism do you get accurate reporting credentials as only predicting a third of the movie, and even then it's only kind of by accident. He does not know what he's talking about, nor does the Quartering, nor does Geeks and Gamers, nor does Mike Zero. I hate that we still have to have this fucking conversation that all of these people are liars and grifters, and they just don't like that ladies are in their Star Wars. End of the conversation.
So, let me get this straight. You're saying they don't have journalistic integrity?
As a matter of fact,
if you're gonna hold my feet to the fire, I don't think there's a Pulitzer with the name Doomcock on it coming anytime soon.
but we
I
can
don't know,
dream.
man. He was in Newsweek.
It was in Newsweek.
True.
There's a timeline where Doomcock wins a Pulitzer. That exists.
We might be in it. I don't know if you guys have seen what's going on in the world right now.
You're right.
This is the darkest timeline, as they say.
That's August's dumpster fire. That's the dumpster fire for August. And suddenly Doomcock has a Pulitzer.
Oh my gosh. Well, I can't tell you. I have never been more embarrassed to bear the name Canon Junkie on Twitter than with all this bullcrap flying around about Canon and all that. People talking about Canon. Stop talking about Canon and stuff. Just with everything talking about a Canon reset. It's come on. It's enough to make you want to change your name to just the Junkie. And
at this point, it's unfortunately an upgrade. In a really
I'm
twisted way.
gonna change my name to what's something manly?
Doomcock.
Doomcock's pretty good. I was trying to think of something a little different. Just to the fear vagina. No.
Fear vagina.
No. I'll think of something.
Oh my gosh!
I want that tattooed on my chest.
I don't think you want the phrase "fear vagina" on your chest.
One word on each pack. You can make them dance.
To make them dance. Feel free if we, in his comments or whatever, I don't know. You go take it and proliferate, children.
I will, and I'm gonna do it with the official Nerd Academy YouTube all about it. I just heard Joel get very angry from 15 minutes away. I felt it,
but it's in the future. Like, he's not gonna know about it till weeks after it happened. Then he's gonna be like, "What the fuck?"
I'm gonna get a very angry phone call. It's like, you already almost broke the website, dipshit. Now you're trying to piss off the Fandom Menace with the YouTube channel.
Yes.
Anyway,
How else are we supposed
It's
to?
okay. They have their book sales. They'll
yes,
be okay.
they have their book sales. Travis,
Yes.
final thoughts on this asinine, absurd fucking story.
I don't believe in violence normally. But Doomcock is one of those people where if I ever met him in person, I would want to break his knees and just watch him lay there. And I don't know why,
With
because like
the helmet, like you have to
Yeah.
use the helmet to do it.
and like because like it's just Star Wars, and I don't know what it is about him. Like maybe it's the hateful opinions that aren't real opinions. Maybe it's the active spreading of misinformation and profiting from it.
I think that's the thing that
Like-
pisses me off. And look, I'm with you. 100% serious. Like violence, right? I wouldn't want to not want to attack physically this person. That pisses me off to no end. Folks, him and all the other Fandom Menace, and frankly, even some of the other. It's not. What's the best way to put it? There's a number of YouTube channels. I'll be politically correct here. There's a number of YouTube channels that literally make thousands of dollars at
Off
a
of
clip
lying to children.
of lying off of lying to anybody who will listen. It's insane because it creates this sort of cult like following and creates.
Oh, we lost
what-
you. We lost you at cult like following.
That's probably the best place to lose me.
Went to join a cult. Be right back. Yeah, violence jokes aside, like it's just like I could never hear the name Doomcock or his voice or anything about him ever again, and my life would only be 100% better. Like he's one of those people. Most of the people in that Fandom Menace sphere are those people. Where just never hearing anything about or from them again would make my life nothing but better. And
then you're stuck with me, who likes to pick fights with them, like for sport.
but like at least you're doing it for sport. And I join you on
will say
occasion.
I had a problem as well, Jarod. I a long time was just like, it's so much fun to poke that freaking bear.
It is.
Because
It's so easy.
They had the same response for everything, and I finally just got tired of explaining myself to them because everything I said they were like, but you can't say that it's subjective or whatever. It's like, shut up, you don't know what you're saying.
There's no such thing as objective art.
No.
Yeah, it's like objective art
we
or
need
whatever.
to-
Like
We need to take
none of
time.
you can ever explain to me. No one can ever explain why it's a good movie. It's because you don't like it, you dick.
We need to take time on an episode of Nights one day and just like talk about the Star Wars anything and everything debacle we went through.
No. That's the one Fandom Menace experience that may have emotionally scarred me as a person.
Oh no, I have PTSD from before, like between Last Jedi and as a Skywalker. I have PTSD from like dealing with that kind of stuff, and it rears its ugly head like once in a great while. I think the last time I had interaction with one of these cronies was good old Sheev. Pete, I know you've had run-ins with
Oh my
Sheev.
gosh.
Sheev, like I don't know, I came to the defense of some, but that's my thing. I usually come in and like, now I'll come in when people are being like total righteous D-bags.
Here's the difference though, Gerry, and
Same
I don't completely disagree with you, but somebody like this Sheev dude, he's not vicious and nasty. He's aggressive. He doesn't get, generally stays away from calling, and he hates the movies, and it's the first thing that comes out of his every single time is dislike of Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker.
Mm-hmm.
However, it's the people that follow behind him, and I think that's the weird thing about this whole phenomenon is that it's there was an article that was recently written on one of these sites that called on my comments about this whole Doomcock situation. And the end it says thank you to whoever for letting us know. And so they're like, they've got, it's sort of like there's like an army of people that are waiting to find people who disagree with them that they can get it up and create more dissent, send out the army of attackers, create dissent among the groups. And what's amazing is, and this is why I hit myself in the head on this, is able to continue to give them any sort of light these conversations. It's my own fault. I continue to do it. And I think that's ultimately the way that this goes away, is if you let that cult kind of live with itself and continue to hate on everything that Disney's done with Star Wars, let them hate it. You know what? Have fun with that. Stay out of my world. Stay out of the world of people who still enjoy it. And again, I'm the first to say I have major problems with Rise of Skywalker. It's a mess in many ways, but you know, it's a fun Star Wars movie. It wraps things up in its own way, in ways I don't always agree with, but conversation for another time. But who love Rise of Skywalker, I'm not out there saying you're an idiot, you don't understand storytelling, this wasn't the way the movie was designed. And that's and it's the same thing. Frankly, there's a sect of Raylos that are that way as well, which will come at you for enjoying a movie or something. And so problem is, as I was saying earlier, it's not just groups. It's not Fandom Menace and people who love Star Wars. It's Fandom Menace. It's various groups of Fandom Menace, because there's people. Look, I don't defend Fandom Menace at all. However, people that have potential, I wouldn't consider a fandom. But if you put that hashtag in your bio, you're blocked. Pretty simple. But
Yeah.
There's people who have legitimate problems with Star Wars since Disney over. I get that. That's totally cool. I had issues with prequels. It took me a while, as I said before. It took me a while to get there. I never once told somebody that they were wrong for liking what they liked. And this is Skywalker. It's. I just did that cool little Sting app, and Skywalker came up, I think 10th on. I think it was 10th on my list, which is fine. I'll still watch it. I still love a lot of it. I will if the three of you love it, I am not going to sit here and tell you you're wrong. And that's where it comes down to it. Is it's Luke Skywalker, he would never attack his own nephew. I know that because in my head, that's the way Star Wars worked. Well, you know what? Unfortunately, somebody else decided to write the Star Wars movie. They didn't call you to write it. So this is the way the story went, man. It's
Thank God they didn't call some of these guys to write it, because Luke would be like Mr. Clean, man. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, like the earring and the shaved head and all of that.
I say this as somebody who has recently gotten pretty into anime, saying that sitting across a table from a very, very hardcore anime consumer in Travis.
Oh.
A lot of these people, their interpretation of Luke Skywalker is the worst kind of anime protagonist.
You're not wrong. Yeah.
It's true. And I mean, we just did an episode a couple of weeks ago with me and from Holo Chronicles, where we talked about what Luke did in Rise of Skywalker as possibly the most Jedi way to handle things. And it's funny, I think it might say a lot about people who wanted Luke to be that character. And at the end of the day, I've said this 100 times in different places, and I'm pleased to bring it to you here on Knights of the Nerd Republic. Idea behind Rise of Skywalker The Last Jedi. The idea behind The Last Jedi is that sometimes heroes will disappoint you, but ultimately they're doing what thing. And what's so funny is the people who don't get that, the people who hashtag not my Luke Skywalker, are exactly that movie is talking to. And it's such a weird meta thing. That movie is actually bringing to life their problem with the story, and they're responding to it in exactly the way it was meant to be reacted to by the wrong type of person.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
You're making me feel things. Stop it, Ryan Johnson.
and
Why isn't Luke indiscriminately killing stormtroopers?
Hey, well, that's right. He's a Jedi.
well, then that's like that one fan art that like hit at the worst possible time. Well, we're all talking about this universe reset bullshit where somebody made, I don't know if you guys saw it, where somebody made this painting, and you know, credit where credit is due. It's a beautiful piece of art. And it's titled "What Would Have Happened If Luke Was Actually on Crate," and it's Luke with his lightsaber in one hand, walking towards the ATM-6s, holding Kylo Ren's beheaded head by the hair.
Did you see my response to that? My response was, thought it looked like me and the blue milk.
Blue bantha milk, yeah.
Yeah. Said it looked like a coconut, so I created a meme. I've come to coconut pie. It is ridiculous. It's Luke Skywalker holding Kylo Ren's head. No.
Seems a little extreme.
Just
a
at
little.
what point, and that's my thing, is like, you know, our interpretation is, you know, subjective and people interpret things different ways. I just want to know, what version of the movies were you guys watching where that seemed like something Luke or any fucking Jedi would do? like again, if you want that kind of brutality in a piece of fiction, that's fine. It's just like the way the rules are set up in this universe, that's kind of not what the good guys do.
Wait a minute, Last Jedi isn't Kill Bill 3?
The amount of people that want Star Wars to be Game of Thrones is I'm sorry, it makes my head hurt. It makes me like I'm just so like busy. Why do we want it to be I mean, again, I'm not disparaging Game of Thrones, right? It's just it's such a, I don't know. I don't get the whole, I want every piece of content, science fiction and fiction, to be gritty and violent and all of that. Like, why? Why is that the edgelord thing? Why?
Here's the thing that I feel like Fandom Menace often gets, and they love to jump on it whenever somebody says, remember, it's a movie for kids. And they hate that because I don't know why they hate it. But what I loved, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna promote my show just a little bit.
Please do. That's why you're here.
This week I had. I know. Please look at me. Look at me. I had Charlie Benante from Anthrax. Charlie is the drummer for possibly one of the greatest heavy metal bands of all time. And even Charlie, who said he didn't love the sequels and he doesn't love all the Disney stuff, he knows that he has to watch it through his young daughter's eyes, and he appreciates it differently. And that's 100. There's no way, even if, let's just say, Luke, the right thing for a Jedi to do was to chop off heads. That's not what you're going to get in a Star Wars movie. That's not what Star Wars is about. And ultimately, go back to the original trilogy. Watch how Luke handled facing down the Emperor. He threw his lightsaber away and said, "I'm not going to do this." It's built into the way the story has always been, and for whatever reason, because they didn't get Starkiller from the video game, are pissed off, and it's not what they wanted. I get it. You know what? I would love it. Let's get Sam Witwer to do a live action Unleashed. I would love to see that.
We don't allow pornography on this show. Please stop talking.
That is not Luke Skywalker. Hey, it's what it is.
No, I agree with you, and I the whole thing about watching it through, you know, this generation of kids who are consuming this for the first time, you know, even if I didn't love the sequels and just so you guys are aware of my stance on them, I quite like The Force Awakens. I think The Last Jedi is the best Star Wars to ever Star Wars. And I am so conflicted on The Rise of Skywalker because there is so much in there that I love. And there's other stuff that just makes gray matter ooze out of my ears.
And that's 100%. And I think the funny thing is, I'm sorry to interchange.
No, you're good.
The interesting thing about The Last Jedi is, I think it came out. I want to say I love that little app thing that I did the other day. A lot of people.
Oh yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I think it came out 5th or 6th for me, and I think but at the end of the day, and I've said this too. I said it to Jason Fry. I've said it to anybody who's been attached to Lucasfilm, and I've said it to anybody who'll listen. I think it's the best Star Wars movie, maybe second to Empire, but the way it is written, the way it's put together as a film, it is a complex movie that requires people to think and requires
And
multiple
there's the
watch-
problem.
Well, yeah, that might be part of the problem. It requires multiple watchings. When I walked out of Last Jedi, I remember I said to my friend who's a big, I said, that was both the best and worst Star Wars I ever saw. And the second time I saw it, I was like, no, I think that might be one of the best Star Wars movies ever made. When you watch Knives Out, you understand Ryan tells stories. And Last Jedi tells a complex story. It's not an easy thing to digest because it's true. Luke Skywalker, this guy that we all loved since we were kids when we saw New Hope for the first time, whether it was 1997 or 1977, it's changed. And you know what? He's seen a lot of shit. And he's a different actor. And I think Ryan took some chances that were very difficult for people to handle. And then, of course, they blame Kathleen Kennedy and Rose Tico for some reason.
Yeah.
Well, because
because
they have those special chromosomes, right? That we don't have.
The fear vagina.
the fear vagina.
They have the fear vagina. Oh, they're so afraid of it.
Well, because
Last Jedi. I'm sorry if I
you're
may
good.
real quick.
You're
And
good.
the Last Jedi is a love letter. It is a deconstruction of what Star Wars is. They triumphant. Yes, Star Wars is everything you ever thought it was, but then better. Like we can move forward, right? And stuff. Anyway, there. I'm done. I love The Last Jedi.
yeah, and
It was number one on my thing.
And again, like even if
Better.
I didn't love these movies and didn't, instantly fall in love with Kylo Ren as a character and all these things, between my little sister and she wasn't on the show tonight because a friend of ours is back in town and she's hanging out with him tonight, Alexis, who's also in our network, seeing how Ray registered with Alexis and then my little sister, who's 8 now, blew my mind. And like that was the moment it hit me like a freight train. Where
I'm with you. My daughter, who is 11 now, when she saw Rey, she was really into princesses. She was in her Disney princess phase, as every little girl seems to go through. She was like into like putting on dresses. She saw Rey. She didn't even see the movie yet. She ran upstairs. She created her own Rey costume. And she attached Rey, which is amazing and so important because there was enough for boys, there was enough for girls.
Oh, we lost you. We lost you. There's enough for boys and girls.
Yes. I loved Rey as a character.
Yeah, same.
And it is interesting though, and I think, and this is where the attacks don't have an answer for this. But there's no doubt at all that female action figures don't sell as well. You go to your local Walmart, and I was actually in my local Walmart the other day, and there was a pile of Zori Bliss and
I have not found one of the Zori Blisses in the wild. Oh,
you have it?
Sorry.
Oh, dude,
I'm
I'll pick one up for you, man.
Oh gosh, you're the best. If I had more money, I would buy more of the female action figures. I would buy all of them and take them home with me. I promise. I promise.
But it's funny, for whatever reason though, they don't sell, and unfortunately.
I don't know if anybody else
Anything.
heard the very loud train in the background, but there was a very loud train.
It's
you were
late, so I
saying.
won't shout at it. But I shouted at it in my mind.
I didn't hear it. They were shooting. They shoot off fireworks here in Michigan for like the whole summer. So might be hearing that as well
The
around
sun's
me.
out. Time for explosions.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's interesting because Rey is a great character, and it doesn't. She's as strong as Luke Skywalker as a character, if not stronger, and that scares people, I guess.
Yeah, no, I think you're right.
The whole
about
thing is
that.
like what they say she's too perfect or something. Like she's
The whole
too
Mary
good
Sue
at
thing was
everything.
ridiculous.
That is a whole
Yeah.
episode's worth of
Skywalker.
conversation. That is a whole. Thank you. Oh my God, Pete.
Blew up the
Fucking
Death
thank
Star,
you.
yes.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
yeah.
It's not Mary Sue or anything.
And the 9-year-old Force Jesus baby managed to blow up a fucking warship after. And that's the thing.
But he's got a penis.
Yeah,
right?
That's exactly it.
I don't know. Like I think that Rey is one of the best characters that they've ever. It's the best way they could have gone for the new series, the new trilogy.
I agree with you.
To go with a female protagonist, and I love that she is fulfilling all the things that Luke and Anakin couldn't. Like she's just, I don't know, just something about Rey is just she's not tempted by the things that they are. Right? She's just 100% gonna do the right thing no matter what. Because she's a true, honest person, right? She is a Jedi. She's the Jedi right now.
Yeah, and I think to end this conversation off, I highly recommend friend of the show Daniel Miller from Broaxium had like a mini Twitter thread about the theme of finding oneself in the sequel trilogy and how well that applies to Rey, Finn, and Poe, and that's their story and that's the story of this trilogy.
That's nice.
It was a very good thread, very good read. Shout outs to Broaxium. With that was cathartic. That felt good.
Oh, very.
felt good.
I found the definition of cathartic the other day. I found out what that is from a podcast. That is actually a relieving of your bowels. So that is just what we did right there.
all over
Shat all over
Doomcock.
that article.
All over
Doomcock.
Doomcock.
Our last two stories here. Yes, we also just found out that it turns out Alexis Capel is Doomcock. So there we go.
I thought.
Host of co-host of Knights of the Nerd Republic, Alexis Capel is indeed Doomcock.
Yes, she's been inside the network the whole time, and we just now figured her out.
Wow.
By the
How
way,
does she fit all that hair in the
before we go
helmet?
off this, I do have to say,
I think it's After Effects.
I actually read the most insane thing, had my name attached to it ever this past week on one of the. I'm not even going to name the site because fuck them. The sorry, am I allowed to say that on your show?
Absolutely, you are more than welcome.
There was this whole theory, and it may be true, or I don't know. And in fact, you know what? I might go so far as to say is I'm pretty sure it might be true that apparently, you know what? I'm not even going to go into it. Either way, they said that
I'm so interested now.
I know. You might want to delete that or edit it because it's going to piss some people off. But they were saying that perhaps I was feeding false information to people like Doomcock so that I could discredit him.
I mean, if you were, that's the most brilliant game of 3D chess I've ever seen, and congratulations on winning the internet.
I'm going to go on record right now as to say I don't have the kind of time or intelligence to go that deep.
So
Give a shit about what's happening in the misinformation game that is the internet.
you could create an entire podcast around these Star Wars conspiracy theorists and their conspiracy theories, and you could have episodes for years, man. That's crazy. Pete, to be fair, so does that mean that you are technically the one mentioned in Newsweek then, if that's the case?
Ooh, that's a good point. I might be able to say that I like that.
No,
Can we run with that with BTB? Can't do that.
Oh, no, we can't, because then I would have to admit something that I supplied that information. I thought it was actually humorous and of course they ended their article by saying we're not by any using. It's the new journalism. You can say something and then just at the end say, but we don't really mean it. Wink, wink. But
journalistic integrity. That's what that's called.
See,
so let me go on record on Knights of the Nerd Republic as saying, I'm sorry, it was not me that supplied any misinformation. I don't have any information.
You lost all your street cred, man.
See, now I have this burning urge to make like Doomcock-like videos where the things I say are so outrageous.
And attribute them to Pete Fletcher.
Yeah.
Well, now I just have this really fucked up headcanon, and I promise this will be the last thing we say about Doomcock. That Doomcock is like Dread Pirate Roberts in The Princess Bride. Yes. And it's just like it's just like whatever poor fucking soul becomes Doomcock's editor is like, and eventually I'll fire you, and then eventually I became the new Doomcock, and then it just keeps going on and on forever.
Oh my gosh.
I think we need to start from this particular episode that Gerry the Canon Junkie is actually Doomcock.
Yes.
We don't know. It could be anybody, right?
No, he's apparently he's obsessed with canon and stuff like that. But I liked my favorite. Here's my conspiracy theory about, or like this is my comparison.
If you want a brain
Doomcock
tumor,
here.
watch his video about disrespecting canon. It is the most psychotic, like lost the grip on reality shit I've ever watched. So,
man.
Jerry, if you
might
want
have
to
to-
see the dark side version of your love of canon, it's horrific.
I might have to just so I can destroy, or it's like my Dagobah cave moment or something, right? But Pete, the way you were talking about him and his like cronies and stuff, like how it basically made him seem like he had ears everywhere, it made me think this is the thought I had, and I have to share it, and then I promise we can move on. It seems like he's like Sauron if he lived in his mother's basement, right? Stuff, and had never ever talked to a female. Just true, because look at frickin' Mordor.
That is so fucking funny.
There may be some connection between a Ring camera, part of the Ring. If you sit in your basement, you could just watch. You can just watch who's walking to your door, and you'll know when when Earthpack covered.
Oh my gosh.
So you'll get it.
This is
It's amazing. I'm sitting in my
my
basement right now, but I own the house, so that
that doesn't count.
I technically
That
have
doesn't
one up
count.
on them. So.
No, yeah, you're allowed to do that.
And you owned it. You didn't inherit it when your mother passed away, or you took power of attorney.
How did she? No, it was my grandmother. No.
Is it?
It was my
I'm
stepdad.
making,
Is it
let me go on
libel
record.
if I imply that Doomcock killed his mother to get the basement?
Oh no! I'm going to go on record right now because I'm sure somebody will freak the hell out. As I don't know who Doomcock is or what he does. I just know. I know what he does. He creates videos that Newsweek picks up as real news for some reason, and
he lies for a living. That's what he does.
No, he works the YouTube algorithm, make money. That we have just spent an hour and 7 minutes talking about his shit.
Yeah, and
who wins? He wins.
Pete doesn't know. Pete doesn't know if his mother is alive or dead, or if he's inherited the house and the 50 cats that she owned. We do not know that.
I have no
We
idea.
have no evidence.
We have no evidence to prove.
Have you ever seen, there's a video that I saw a long time ago, I don't know if I could ever find it, but it was this lady who walked into a house that the floor is moving because it's just cats. And she starts throwing cat food like it's chicken feed stuff around there. It's a real video, and that's the place I imagine he makes his videos in the basement of. So there we go.
So
I'm done.
We're getting Mandalorian books.
Or whatever.
And
Excellent segue.
this is a really nice palate cleanser. So the first wave that we're getting are The Art of the Mandalorian, The Mandalorian, an original novel. We don't have like an official subtitle yet. A Mandalorian visual guide from Pablo Hidalgo. The Mandalorian, Aliens and Enemies. The Mandalorian 8x8 storybook. And a Mandalorian junior novelization. Also,
Am I wrong?
Oh, yes.
Am I wrong to say that I just want my Mandalorian stories to come on Disney Plus?
No, you're not. I also, as a creature of the Legends canon, always just assume that we're going to get cool shit that we never see on screen in books. And then, you know, the Darksaber showed up in live action and Ahsoka's probably in the next season. So, like, that whole argument doesn't hold any weight anymore, but I'm a creature of habit. So I'm excited for these books, and I'm just hoping they give us, you know, anything that the show won't give us, I hope the books do. And then the first chapter of Light of the Jedi was released. I'm not going to read the whole chapter to you. I am not an expert audiobook narrator as Mark Strong is. So I will not step into that territory. However, you should go read it. It is a very good read, and Light of the Jedi is going to be excellent. And I'm so sorry we wasted everybody's time talking about Doomcock, the Fandom, and the Fandom Menace for an hour, but there were some really good conversations about good fandom in there. And I think, Travis, before I give these lovely gentlemen their time for plugs,
Yes.
Would you be so kind as to read how I labeled the first story in the show notes? Just so we're all aware of like my thoughts going in on this.
So for clarity, I'm not usually on Knights of the Nerd Republic. I'm normally on the Nerd Academy podcast show because I work on the day that we normally record. But because this Saturday was the 4th of July, we were going to move it up to today. And without telling me about this, he pitched to me that he could wait until later at night to record if it meant I could be on the show. And I was like, okay, that's kind of weird. So he sends me the notes, and the first thing I see is, yeah, we are going to talk about it. This is why I wanted Travis here. We collectively deserve a laugh at this batshit insane story.
Because it's insane, and I know we gave it more time than it deserves, but we all needed to just take a minute and shit on it on a microphone.
I think it's good for people because I think we get annoyed at stuff, and it's good to just and let off some steam about some of it, you know, every once in a while.
This episode was intended to be group therapy, and I think it served its purpose. I
think we did a good job.
I hope everybody listening also could just let it all out a little bit with us.
Hopefully that was enjoyable as well for all of your listeners, and not just oh my gosh, they won't shut up about some dumb dick guy or whatever.
Knowing our crowd, they're the type to enjoy seeing dipshits get dunked on. So here's hoping that holds true. With that,
people must really love hearing me get dunked on.
Well, you're not a dipshit. You're a lovely guy.
Oh, true. There you go. You're too kind.
Pete, tell us about your show and where the lovely people can find you.
Well, Around the Galaxy is part of the Beyond the...
You cut out, but Around the Galaxy is a part of the Beyond the Blast Doors network. Continue.
Yes, thank you. Around the Galaxy, part of the Beyond the Blast Doors. We show every Tuesday, and it's all about sort of getting to know the people behind the fandom. So it's everybody from sort of your average everyday Twitter guy like all of us to I've had some pretty interesting people who are fans. I just kind of want to get to know what Star Wars has meant to them. So it's been a lot of fun. It's been running for a little over a year, and it's been a blast. And Beyond the Blast Doors has been just so cool because we got 6 shows, we got 7 people involved, and between streaming Star Wars, which we do every Friday night, where we talk live on YouTube about everything happening on Disney Plus in the Star Wars world, to Beyond the Blast Doors, which is the only live weekly news Star Wars show that I'm aware of. Holo Chronicles on Monday nights does collecting, and we have Shan and Moran do postcards for the Galaxy's Edge on Wednesdays. And this is where I seg over to Gerry and say I love Bombadcast. What do you got, Gerry?
Oh, well, yeah. Bombadcast is a podcast that I co-host with my good buddy, Scotty Jero. We are a proud part of the Beyond the Blast Doors network, and Bombadcast it's like if Seinfeld and Dateline had a baby, and that baby started a Star Wars podcast with a guy from Louisiana. It is a show.
Paul Stanley.
Yes.
Yeah. It's
Very
literally a Star Wars
frequently.
show about like being a fan and not. I don't know. It's a show about, again. It's the Seinfeld of Star Wars podcast. It's a show about nothing, but sometimes we'll talk about like this. Sometimes we'll have a serious episode every now and then with a couple fart jokes in it. You know, that's how it goes.
The way the Force intended. As a fan of both of these lovely gentlemen, I cannot recommend their shows enough. I referenced it earlier. Do yourselves a favor, listen to Pete's interview with Mark Strong. It's a great episode. You're a fantastic interviewer, and I think anybody trying to get in the game could definitely take a handful of notes from you, sir. And Bombadcast is just so much goddamn fun. Speaking of the Bombadcast, I'm going to rip off one of the Bombad jokes. Gerry, you are, and I mean this quite literally, the one and only repeat guest so far in the Life of the Nerd Academy so far.
Oh my gosh, I am, and I get I understood that reference, as Cap would say. Yes, that's it. And there is you can get a proud member of the One and Only Club T-shirt on the Bombadcast T Public store at any time. But you can wait for a 35% off.
But yeah, I just wanted to call attention to that because it occurred to me right before we started recording that you are our first returning guest. So thank you very much for that. Go follow, subscribe, and listen to everything in Beyond the Blast Doors. Some of the best out there. 10 out of 10 recommend.
Thank you guys so much for having us on.
Oh my God, it's always a pleasure.
Thank you guys for being here.
Yes, absolutely. I made you guys talk about Doomcock for an hour. I owe you guys money at this point.
Just be prepared to be attacked by.
I welcome it, and that's the fucked up part about me is that
He's ready. Like he wants it. He wants to catch and then send hands. Like he's ready.
Like that scene in 300 where he's like, our arrows will blot out the sun, and you're like, we'll fight in the shade, right?
Yeah.
It's just like, bring it on.
That's
bring it
me.
on.
That is
So-
exactly me with the Fandom Menace, and somebody is now on notice to make a meme of that. Because, like we said before, I fight the Fandom Menace for sport. I join Fandom Menace Facebook groups when I'm bored just to argue with people. I'm sick.
my
I'm
gosh.
disturbed. I know I probably shouldn't do this. This is probably bad for my mental health.
It really is.
Especially where my politics lie. Hearing the shit these people say is not good for me, but I do it anyway because it's just fun to fight dumb people.
Gerry, I have to ask because I feel like you and I are in a similar boat in that there are days I will wake up and I'll be checking Twitter and something will set me off and I'll be like, I know I shouldn't post this, but it's the way I'm feeling this morning. And you hit send and you're like, all right, here we go. Let's see what happens. Light the fuse and run away.
I here's my thing. I don't light the fuse and run away. I will like crash through a window and stand proudly ready for an argument with a dipshit.
Naked.
Yeah, naked. Yeah, I am the walking definition of fuck around and find out. And I just love arguing with people who I it's because I already know what they're gonna fucking say. That's what makes it so fun. And that's what makes me sick in the head for liking it.
Just gotta test those waters and see if they're still, if they're still healthy, if they're still, having those same, gotta get the same answers back. Make sure these people are
Exactly.
Gotta make sure their catalog is up to date,
Yeah. I was like, hey, you forgot to mention that Brie Larson just hates babies. You forgot that Brie Larson hates babies. You forgot to mention that. Other than that, great bill of health. Travis, where can the lovely people find you, friend?
They can find me not being very active on social media right now, mostly because I just haven't been feeling it. At Travis Political on Twitter and Instagram.
And you deserve that time off. I should probably take it too, but I'm not going to.
I that was the best part about camping, was that I had no service, so I was just like, I don't have to check anything. I have a valid excuse to just not look at Twitter.
See, I would just have that moment of, I don't need to look at Twitter right now, but I hope it's not on fire without me.
Yeah, I definitely caught myself once or twice,
Like a
like
sick fuck that I am.
out of habit, I'd open my phone to look at the time, and then just like all of a sudden Twitter was open. Like I don't remember moving my hand, but suddenly Twitter was open on my phone, trying to load because I had no signal, and I was like, wait, why is this happening? Why did I open Twitter?
Oh yeah, I know that feel. I've closed Twitter and then immediately opened it, totally out of habit.
You'd close it and you're like, okay, what am I gonna do now? Well, my phone's here. I'm gonna look at Twitter. Wait.
Wait,
Wait a second. Jared,
Yes.
where?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at DarkJedi2552. And you can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and on our website, www.thenerdacademypodcast.com, where, if you're feeling generous, you can chuck in a couple credits to help us keep the lights on around these parts. Speaking of our Patreon, shout out to the Waffle Wizard and Case and Breon, our $10 patrons. You guys help us so much, making sure that these shows get on the airwaves for you guys, and we appreciate it immensely. Again, a little caveat at the end here. Like Travis said, we are recording this Thursday night, so when Bombshell News inevitably breaks tomorrow, it'll be on next week's show. With that, thank you, Pete. Thank you, Gerry. It is an honor as always. Go check out Beyond the Blast Doors. We are honored that you have all joined us, and may the Force be with you always.